Much love. Heavily emphasizes good character. How should one go about building it and removing bad traits such as envy, contempt, and anger? Love from Canada. That's actually a very good question. How does one go about enhancing their character? Hmm. Well, I would say the fact that you have asked this question or a person asks this means they are already on that path. It does begin with introspection, definitely, to look in. I would say also, in looking out as well, one must realize that, like, they need to, things like good character do also come to us by modeling behavior. So we see people doing certain things and we recognize that that's a virtue which we then enact. So it is also by, whether it's going to be by looking, by reading, whatever means people have to learn, by watching, by observing good behavior from other people. But I want to, so these 2 points may be obvious, but I want to add 2 more points to that. One I want to say is that, and this I feel is crucial. You see, when a person is sometimes envious or bitter or just cruel, this, maybe not always, but I feel often, is stemming from something. There's something not, there's something that hasn't settled within. Maybe a person is hurt, or maybe a person has suffered, and then it burns them to see people who are not suffering or who are not. And I think that needs to be resolved. And sometimes that may be a very long process, but it needs to start. That journey must begin. That kind of therapy, in whatever way. Sometimes it's by actually taking therapy, undergoing therapy, whether it's counseling. Sometimes it may be just introspectively a person does it with themselves. Sometimes it can be through, certain deep reflection, or speaking to select friends or people which is a form of counseling anyway, really. If you're speaking to someone that is reliable, trustworthy, one needs to sometimes untie those knots. There's quite a few knots that people have, and it makes them very bitter towards the world. It's because I guess in many ways everybody has been done onto, in some way or another. But the way you have reacted, you can learn, even though you can't change the past, but you can learn to untie those knots still and move forward with compassion. The other thing I was going to say is, maybe, and this may seem counterintuitive, but maybe give in charity, even if it's small amounts, maybe with some ingenuity to it. So as opposed to just going online and donating somewhere, maybe if you see someone, giving them something. It's strange what this humanitarian act of compassion does to the psyche of the giver. It's amazing. I mean, I think it's very underrated, and it's so telling why Islam emphasized this so much. So I would encourage those 4 things.